would you want to indoctrinate people into the purpose, or would you want them to discover?
What do you think we're doing today?
So
we're shooting unscripted contents.
shooting the unscripted conversations, and I believe it's gonna be a fun one.
Thank you. That's good.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason and I'm from the finance department.
So I'm Wanrap. I'm from the services team, and I'm part of the operations, overlooking the operations of the services team in Chillibreeze.
And I'm one part of the AR, that is the accounts receivable. And basically I've been in Chillibreeze for around 6 months now.
And I've been with Chillibreeze for close to 5 years. To be exact, it's 4.5 years right now. Yeah.
Do we really feel like our purpose is something that's going to bring good change to our society?
I think so. I'm not sure if this will make sense or not. But then, when we look at any company's vision, or any company's purpose, most of them maybe they might just be one line, which to be the best in the world or something or the other like that. Or for some can be like just a general outline of their values, their behaviors, and all those other things as well that they want to display. But for me, when I look at the Chillibreeze purpose, it always links to one thing in there, that is, it's very strategic and broad.
Yeah.
Strategic in the sense that we have outlined the things that we really want to do in the statements that are there, and that really helps us in focusing, okay, what should we do next, and it might be very difficult if our vision was let's say our purpose was to be the best graphic designing company.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely we can do that, but then it's not really strategic to your question of impacting communities, impacting people, and all those other things as well, and it's broad enough to say that I don't really need to really fully understand the context of the purpose, but then I already think that I'm linking to it, where it's broad enough that people can just see themselves inside that vision. It's broad enough that they can see themselves inside that purpose. It's broad enough that they can picture themselves doing something in. And I think so that's more than enough, that it's contributing to us impacting the community and having a positive impact on the overall, let's say, economy or whatever the scale may be. So I think so it's something that I think it should last Chillibreeze for even 100, 200, 300 years, this same purpose, because that's what I feel. It's strategic and it's broad. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like you're right about that. Like, our purpose, I feel like, is strategic. And Jason, even I feel like I can relate to the purpose at some point. But then I feel like, do you think there's a way that we could better communicate to newbies, or does it just happen on its own, would you say? The connection to the purpose?
My question to that would be like, would you want to indoctrinate people into the purpose, or would you want them to discover?
I would love them to discover. Yeah.
And that's where, like, for me as well, I think so. Definitely, we can teach them about the purpose, but discovering by themselves through whatever the experience that they might have, I think so that will have more meaning as well, so that they feel like it's something that comes out from them, rather than being it like school where it just fed with information and all of that, and you don't really find meaning in that, right?
Yeah.
But then if you struggle through on your own, I feel like that's more meaningful, I would say, in a way.
Yeah, that's why we always say like Chillibreeze is not for everyone.
Right.
You just have one more story, right? So basically, for a person to be able to understand, how we are being able to influence, as a company also, it's for a company like Chillibreeze is earning a lot, right? We have a really huge targets, right? And basically having this company come to Shillong also, and just in Northeast, basically if we talk about the economy, right, and how like the circulation of money works, imagine like how many employees we have here and how the money like starts circulating just within Shillong also, right? So how much we're being able to influence people and like being able to create jobs for everyone also, not just within Chillibreeze but also outside, right?
Yeah.
This question like really got me thinking, like has it actually like, first of all, like has it actually changed me or not? When I joined Chillibreeze and how much like I've grown like throughout. When I first joined, like I was basically, I didn't join directly through the Inspire course. So basically I joined like in the training directly with the finance team. And basically like for the first few days, I was just being given work. And like at first it was like so boring, like I didn't get to know much about the company and about its purpose. I just had to read it every day, but really couldn't understand it. But after like after a few weeks, I would say, like I got introduced to the Inspire course, and from there we got to meet like a lot of people like Fanai, like and we were being taught a lot of things and like our purpose and why we do what we do and why we do all these things, right? And basically that's really like amazing to see. And going back home also, right? Like it's not about just keeping all these things to me, right? I just explained some of them like when I go meet my friends. I remember during a Christmas break, like I got to tell them like a lot about our company also, and maybe I don't know, maybe it has inspired them or not, but basically being able to tell them about like the play victim mindset, because we have never thought about that, right? We have never gone into depth like about how much like we as humans like how our mindsets actually work, except like if you read a lot of books. But yeah, like how much I feel like in India, like Chillibreeze is one of like the top companies, I would say, because of how much tax we pay. So when you pay so much tax, also like the government increases their revenue, and like there's like infrastructure being developed, right? So basically companies also like Chillibreeze, if we see only in our location right now also, like just like the people who are outside, like these small vendors, if we weren't here, like they would like some customers of theirs would not be there, right? So basically slowly like if we start thinking about it, like in like small perspectives, like we have all these things about how much like Chillibreeze can actually bring a change to the community. So that's one thing. And also with the CSR projects that we have, right, we've like been able to like make a lot of changes to schools. And I believe like this year also will be making a lot of impact also when it comes to the communities in Shillong. And basically we're spreading right throughout Northeast India. We're going next to Imphal, and that's going to be a really exciting thing. So yeah.
What do you guys think about that sentence? Work is a necessary evil.
So yeah, basically according to my understanding, right? So even like after we graduated, like why do we even go to college? Like why do we even like have like to go through like all our educations and everything, like? But basically as you grow older and older, you see like that you find the need that you have, as in terms like financially also, or even wanting to do something with your life. When we talk about work being a necessary evil, I would say like even if you don't work, what are you trying to do with your life?
Yeah, I think on my end as well, when you say necessary evil, it might be too big of a word, and it might be because how we perceive things might have not been so matured yet. For me, terming it as necessary evil might not be the right word, because at the end of the day, I think so it depends on how we see things and understand. Maybe people who come up with that term might have perceived their perception of life might be that if things don't go my way, then that is where things become bad. But then I think so that's maybe a miss in there, where if you really try to understand things, is that the main thing you have to understand in life is that things don't go your way. And let's say if there is something that that is realistic in life as well, is that at the end of the day, if you want to have more dollars in your bank account that you don't even need to check your bank account, then you should be able to say that I should be able to work without checking the clock in reality as well, right? So it's not something to say that things will just happen for free as a gift or something like the other. You have to put in the work if you want to have a good life at the end of the day. So that's just my thought on that. I wouldn't term it as a necessary evil, but then it's maybe you should be able to be mature enough to perceive it that it's part that of life that you have to live with it and you can't escape it, or you have to be responsible for it as well.
It's not really a necessary evil, but it can be like a necessary good also. It depends totally on how you see it, on if you're in the right place. I believe like some people just want to join your company and start earning money, but we keep on learning new things. We keep on innovating. We never stick to one thing, right? And I believe some people maybe they lose their spark or they don't understand the purpose anymore. It's because they don't really start having that mindset where they want to grow even more, or they'll be able to add value some more, right? Maybe move to a different department or something, or maybe maybe just giving some new insights on what they can do, to make the company last 100 years. So basically, I feel even for some people, I believe in the company, slowly, they do get the purpose also, but also it starts fading away if they just keep on doing the same monotonous thing every day, I would say. So yeah. And also there's this one funny story where I was connecting to back when I was with my friends again, after I joined the Inspire course and I got to talk to them about our vision and all these things that I learned. And the funny thing is that they told me I was being brainwashed. I was like, yeah, maybe I'm being, and I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I'm being brainwashed for the good. Where because as I see myself as a person now that I've grown a lot and I know about a lot of things, and I've never thought I would think about all these things in such a way, right? So maybe for them maybe for them they won't understand it now because they don't really get the vision and what we actually do here. So just that I wanted to share. Maybe I'm influenced for the good also.
Yeah, I would argue, I would argue with your friend saying that we're getting brainwashed either ways.
Yeah.
Whatever we're doing, whatever content we're consuming, whatever we're reading, whatever it is that we're doing, we're getting brainwashed. I guess at least we're getting it's like everything is hard in life. You just get to choose your heart, kind of a situation. I feel like so how do you want to get brainwashed, right?
Yeah.
With that as well, it's maybe the thing is that people might come up with those assumptions is because they have thought that what they're doing is the right thing and then they're at the peak. That's why maybe they might be saying that, I think my way of doing things is better than yours, and that's where maybe they might say, you're just being brainwashed by the company or something like the other like that. But then to be really enlightened on that, it's really to realize that you're never at a peak on anything that you try to do, and then there's always more that you need to learn and to improve, and learning doesn't mean that you need to read a book or something or the other, but then it's just scrolling through the internet, finding new things, trying out, and all those other things as well. That's more than enough to prove that I'm constantly improving. And majority of the times, especially here in Northeast, that's what I see. Just like how it was for us, we wouldn't even bother about LinkedIn before because we're like big government job and all of that. But then for people outside, you can really see they struggle through. They always want to consistently get better. Comparing to the people before, when mobile phone first came in Shillong, everybody was like majority maybe of the people who are in their 50s or 40s or something like that. They'll be all like, this is not for me, I don't need it or something or the other, right? And because they think that peak for them was like telephones or something or the other, and that was the mindset that we had before. And but then when you look at people from outside, their approach to things is that there's always room for improvement, and they're never willing to give up on learning new things. The first time I came to Chillibreeze, I saw Ralph holding his iPhone and all that, and I'm like, my mother doesn't even use a touch screen phone because she says it's too difficult. But then I'm looking at Ralph and he's using an iPhone and all of that, right? And I was like, that's you can just feel that there's that mindset that we have. But then I do see it's improving nowadays. People are more open to learning, trying out new things and all those other things. It's good. But then I do feel like especially for the youths out there, we really need to help them see that there's never a limit. And to say that you've reached your limit or peak, then that might be the start of your downfall as well.
The start, I believe also the start when we talk about downfall, right? It basically starts when you just want a life that's really easy.
Yeah.
I would say that's when you feel like you've done everything, but you have not yet. You just want like an easy life, even at the age of like 24, 25. So like that's one thing I would say. Like most of us, like because we've been influenced too much by what the content that we've been consuming, I would say. So maybe switch to a different content.
Food, it makes it easy. That I feel like easy has something to do with dependency.
Yeah.
Like we have a high dependency on things.
Yeah, and when you look at it, well, basically this is something that I'm learning right now, system thinking, okay, and it's that whenever you're presented with a problem right in front of you, it's I think so. It's a skill that everybody in us needs to build in. Either you zoom into the problem or you zoom out and find out what's the thing that actually is causing this. And majority of the time, we are victims to something happens, I zoom in, I dive in, and I try to fix the situation without really trying to step out, analyze, okay, what's the root cause? Maybe I just need to leverage this part that's more than enough to fix the problem. And that's why, by me zooming in and being reactive and trying to do something over there, but then, I fix this, but then couple of weeks down the line, something wrong is happening here. Something wrong is happening in another place. And that's where I do see, like, in Chillibreeze, this is something that we really need to build, It might not be that you need to learn system thinking or something like the other, but then it's just, standing there, observing the problem and saying, okay, do I zoom in or do I zoom out? And maybe it's about zooming out first, you find the root first, and then you go in and zoom in into the, solution. So that's what I feel, might be we need to
I
do.
love that.
There should always be a balance between being creative and reactive, I guess. Just how like you guys fix this. I don't know where you guys being creative or reactive.
Is I inspire my coworkers.
I think when it comes to inspiring people, what's really important for me is that it shouldn't be through words alone, but then it should hand in hand go along with the results and the actions that you are doing. Then people, they see a life example of who you are, and maybe they can take up something much more responsible from there as well. I can be very motivational in how I speak about that, but then if I don't live it up, then what's the use of when those people find out the truth, then they'll be just like maybe their whole motivation will just flip and it dies off, right?
Right.
But then if you really live up to what you say, and your action speaks louder than your words, then I think so that type of aspirations as well is sustainable, I would say, where consistently people see that you're doing what you say and you're living up to it, and that's where maybe it might drive in more motivation for them as well to say that they can do even better or get inspired from time to time.
For me also, I believe like who I am right now, who I am like this day is because I've been influenced by a lot of people. Like I've been like being able to like pick up like all the bad and the good stuff, like just the bad stuff also, like to filter them out. Like I wouldn't want to become like him, or like just to see someone also like doing good, like just to like be able to observe someone is like a pretty good thing also. Maybe like it's not because like they're trying to, like as you said just now, right? Like they don't walk the talk, I would say. So basically, like some people they do their work, like they inspire others, but they don't say much, I would say. It's just through their actions that they're able to like influence them also, right?
Awards and recognition is something that you have to be patient with. So you can't just say, because I've done this, I deserve a reward. You
Yeah.
also have to wait for the results to be seen.
Yes. The awards and recognition, I think this is something very tricky, might I add. Because most of the times, just like how you were giving the example earlier of even these influencers and all of that, they have to take a lot of initiatives, and then that's when they see the results is being done, right? And that's where as well, even on rewards and recognition, I really think that we really need to help people understand that that they might be taking hundreds and hundreds of initiatives, but then if it's not bearing results, then we shouldn't be entitled to say that I did a lot, so I should be getting more. But then it's also important that we realize that what value am I delivering, or what results am I bringing to the table, and that's where it sounds right to say that if I get rewarded for that as well. So I think so that's where there's a thin line right now with people understanding things. They feel like it's just that if I do something, then that's what me getting a reward or something like that. But then we forget on the, you know, just like what you said, you know, what's done look like,
Yeah.
you know. So you might take 100 approaches and all those other things, but then if it's not delivering the results, I think so you have to be humble enough to admit that, okay, maybe it's not adding value, so I need to work on it better. And you know, it's really important to say that, you know, okay, I might put in, you know, 100 hours, but then the results might be seen only in the 10 hours later on.
Yeah.
And but then that 10 hours helps to save, you know, time in the future or something, even more on that. And maybe if I get rewarded for that, you know, I should be grateful for that as well.
If we're being recognized and being rewarded for something, it also depends not just on the result, but maybe also on the impact. How much
Yeah.
impact has it made? You know, so that's one also that we really have to look on.
It's a really good point that you gave just now, you know. We really, like, I would say, you know, on the scale of rewarding, it should be really based on, you know, the effort and then the impact you delivered, you know. Maybe you might have delivered a lot of effort, but then there's zero impact. So maybe that's just a pat on the back, you know. But then
Yeah.
if it's something like you really gave a lot of effort and then the impact is really huge, I think so, like, you know, that calls for something bigger as well. Yeah, I really do see maybe that's something that we might need to learn. I'm not sure if,
Yeah, have to
there's
look into it,
materials into that or something, but then, yeah, it just got me realizing, you know, I was just thinking, you know, how should I reward people? And then, you know, when you said that about impact, it just struck, you know,
Yeah.
say that maybe I think so we need a map or something like that to help us out with that. This conversation is deep.
Unscripted conversation.